we've been getting a lot of questions about if you're a new student in Fieldwork, or you're new to occupational therapy and new to hand therapy. Some key questions. We have a student here that has some questions, and I'm going to answer them for you today. Okay, my name is Huang with Hand Therapy Secrets. What's the question?
Okay, the question is, what are some strategies that I can use to deal with my natural kind of like shyness, or like I freeze up, or have like a phobia of public performing or public speaking?
Public speaking, right? So people who are shy, so for example, when we get students, right? And they sort of freeze up in terms of working with patients or something new and stuff like that. Or they think that, well, because they're shy, they, can't do X, Y, and Z, right? I'm outie. I'm filming. Turn your phone off. Quita el teléfono. Quita todo.
Quita todo.
Ponga en silent.
Transportación.
Turn it off. Tell them to hang up.
Confirme. Sí. Uno.
This is what I do. I yell at my patients. When they have their phones on, I yell at them. That's all right. So if you're shy, what are some strategies? If you don't know what to do with your patients, what's the strategy? Right? Am I correct in that?
It's like you know it, but when it comes to doing it, either the patient makes you nervous, or
your CI makes you nervous.
Or people around you, like supervising you, and you kind of forget. Like you just freeze up.
You know
so
it, but you freeze.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the strategies that you have to constantly, so it's a certain self-talk. It's a certain self-talk in here, right? That you're afraid of. And I would say that first of all, that you have to constantly tell yourself that you do know things, right? So you have to have that very positive self-talk with yourself. If you're constantly saying, I don't know, then you're talking yourself into the negative, which then makes you more nervous, which then makes you more unsure, which then undermines your confidence. And then if you do that, then you keep sliding backwards, and so it feels even more overwhelming. So for one, you have to practice the self-talk that's in your head. And I think two, the most important thing is that you can't keep thinking about yourself. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do, because innately we are always thinking about ourselves. So when we say we're shy, we're actually being quite selfish, because we're only thinking about ourselves. But there's actually a lot of benefit to, because you're not always shy. You might be a shy person, or you might be reserved, and you might want to speak a certain way, and you should keep that about yourself. Like, not everyone needs to be flamboyant like me, right? Don't compare yourself to me. Like, not everyone's like crazy and loud and make their hoop earrings sway and big huge performers, right? Some people are very shy, very low toned in terms of their voice, and they have a calmness to them. That's wonderful. But there are people who want that and need that, right? They don't always need someone like me. They want someone who's got the calm voice, and they're actually okay with that. But if you use that as an excuse, I see it as an excuse. If you use your shyness to hold back and not give, then you're being very selfish, right? So if you think only about yourself, then you are worried about judgment, right? And that it just feeds that fire of feeling more nervous and feeling like undermining your confidence that you know stuff. So a lot of students know a lot of stuff, right? You know how to do an evaluation, the thinking process part of asking questions, you know how to do it. It just takes practice to do it faster, to do it smoother. But when you have the self-talk of like, I don't know enough, you're then playing that comparison game, right? You're also, when you use the reason of being shy or I freeze up, then you're also you're thinking only of yourself and you're not thinking about that other person. So I would say, think about how that patient could benefit from what you're providing. You be thankful to that patient for having patience with you, right? Because you're just telling yourself stories of like, I'm not where my CI is, but your CI was at some point in their career where you were. So you're playing that comparison game, and it's the most dangerous game that you play. It's a comparison game. It's the telling yourself stories game that make it so much harder for yourself, right? And I think that's the biggest strategy. It's that self-talk. I mean, number one, self-talk in a positive way to yourself, and then stop thinking about yourself. Because then if you're thinking about the other person and you're grateful to that person for letting you practice and that kind of stuff, then I think it would help you be less nervous. I mean, you tell me if that would help you. If you didn't think that he was judging you and going, so he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know shit. Right? He's like, I don't know shit. That's what he's saying right now. Right?
So to phrase it in, so like it's great to have that background, and then to phrase it in solution-oriented strategies.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're saying, one, self-talk. Don't tell yourself I don't know. So you can tell yourself or ask yourself, okay, what do I know?
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
And then the second one is stop thinking about yourself. So what do you think about instead? You think about how the patient feels or what the patient needs from you.
Yeah. Yeah, you think about the strategy of you thinking about what you have to offer to that person that's in front of you. You think about what you have to offer to that CI that is working with you. So if you're not constantly thinking about yourself, the solution would be like, how can I help this patient feel more comfortable? How can I, be a part of the solution to this patient's injuries? And then you're no longer as nervous. I mean, everything takes practice, right? What can I do to work with my CI to make what they're helping me with be more useful to them, right? So majority of the time, we get students in a private practice or in any kind of setting as a way of giving back. So someone provided an internship for us. So as a profession, we give back to our profession. That's number one. But let's face it, we got extra hands. So I got 2 hands, but now I got 4. Now I have extra hands. But so then you think, how can I be useful to my CI? How can I help her so that she could help even more people? How can I make her daily work day easier? Right?
Yeah,
and that's
that
it. Makes you forget about yourself and what you don't know. Right?
Okay.
So if I'm always, and then if you constantly thinking like, I'm grateful for you helping me, then you can kind of take yourself out of that comparison game, right? So every time you're more helpful to Vanessa, you can stop thinking about what you don't know, or or be more be nervous around her. Or really, it's just me. Like, I think I make people nervous, but it's but yeah, you just like, how can I help Huang? Well, I can help her because I'm able to see this patient, and I was able to make sure that the clinic was set up nicely and that it stayed organized the way that Vanessa, has showed me that she likes to have it done. And I can help because I did my notes, and I can help her stay on track of her notes and make sure the evaluations are done in 24 hours. Long as, it's a huge help.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly thinking in that way, I think those are some key strategies to make so that you're less nervous, and so you're less using the reason of holding yourself back. Does that help? Everyone's nodding. Yes.
Ayan, kasi,
All right, so this is a continuation of some other questions, and I hope that I'll be able to bring you some more candid talks about how you, as a new OT going into field work or going to hand therapy, can help you feel and be more successful.